see.
Just do a double check. I've got all the fancy buttons set up too.
Good on ya. You got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Almost.
Okay. We came back with a bit of a surprise for you guys. We should be live and it should be fixed. Everything should be fixed this time. I do apologize about yesterday. That was like, okay, so you know how you win the lottery, like some people win the lottery? I got the opposite of that in that, like the Elgato Camlink thing, it cut out with the X79 board. Then after that, my internet cut out. Like, that wasn't my problem. So I just like, it was 2 cutouts, and I'm like, yeah, it's just not my day to stream. You know what I mean? It just wasn't happening. So, but hey, good news is we are back, and I'm joined by Mr. Gregory. Yes, Azar.
Yo, yes, Azar.
That's it. That's your nickname, dude. And anyway, I've got a soundboard. So if you're watching the live stream back, you can hear, like, because you need practice with your Australian accent.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, I've got a little Aussie. I've got got a little Aussie soundboard for you. You ready?
Too right.
I'm ready. I turned up the live stream.
No sweat, mate.
That's it. If anyone remembers Heroes in US too, I made it into the soundboard.
Want some of
It's
this?
delayed by about
Beat 'em
25, 30 seconds.
Okay, I got the best one too. You're gonna hear the Down Under.
It's time for you to go down under.
Okay, almost there. To Roy, is that what he said?
All right, so that's us.
Roy.
Yeah, we got the best soundboard. We got the best soundboard here on YouTube. So old school Hon players will remember too. We got some of it. Anyway, we were going on yesterday about the 240 hertz guy, right? The guy who came to buy a PC off us. He wanted 3 230 hertz monitors, and you know the difference between that guy and me. Yeah, his stream actually worked.
Like,
Anyway,
Brian was. You guys don't know, but Brian was beating himself up pretty bad yesterday. He was pretty upset that it didn't work out for you guys yesterday. So he worked his butt off today to make sure that stream's going to be hopefully spotless and back to its usual self.
Yeah, and so that's what I mean. Like, I even improved it with the soundboard. So I hope chat's doing well. Yeah, I will, and so I will check the DMs later, guys. I do put it on D&D just so we got a smooth stream. But yeah, if you guys are going hard enough in chat. But we had the one guy, so we started off the stream, and we'll sort of recap what happened yesterday, because I basically deleted that live stream out of existence. It was just horrible. Like, I was like, no, I can't have this on my channel. It was like, we cut in 2 times, and the stream was just sitting there. How long was it waiting for? Like,
at one point it was waiting for 10 or 15 minutes before we cut it.
It was just like, look, we'll just forget that stream ever existed. We'll go through the same talking points here today in this live stream. And yeah, so we'll get it together this time for you guys. And hopefully we have even a better, that's what I mean. So this is what sort of like mistakes and problems can do. They can give you a better product than you ever had before. So don't be afraid to critique me, guys. Just say, look, Brian, you did a horrible job yesterday. I did. But now we got a...
Good on ya. You got it.
And we've also got a...
Yes, boss?
So right on stream, man. You're going to love this soundboard, dude.
I hate that I can't hear it like in the moment. I can't react to it.
I need to share that to you. Hey, I need to share it to you. But anyway... We got the 240 hertz guy. He came around and I said to him, look, you don't need to buy 240 hertz monitors to stream. You only need 240 hertz to play games on and enjoy yourself. Then the other monitors can be cheap as, and you can even get away with just like, that's what I've got at this setup here. I will do a video for it now because I've finally mastered it all. There are a lot of things if you'd want to do a single PC streaming setup to be wary of. And the biggest one is the motherboard, actually. Making sure it's sort of like a newer design board and it's not an entry-level board, because you need all those USB ports. If you're going to go with the cheap route, then you have to go get those USB hubs with the separate power adapters so they power all the USB ports separately. And so that's sort of like, that was a big thing for me. And I trial and error, man. Hey, at least
even then, aren't you, if you have like multiple drives plugged in at the same time, aren't you like you're gonna cut into your bandwidth, your transfer speed rates?
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of like streaming devices, like a microphone, can run off USB 2.
Oh, you just mean, yeah. I got you.
But a lot of them have like all these LED lights on it, and so it's just one of those things. But Yeah, I mean, rest in peace, Darth Jar Jar. That's it. That build. Some people messaged me after personally. They're like, "Man, I love that build," and I was like, "Yeah, I loved it too." But if something's not going to work properly, I want to use it and show it to you guys in the background. Another thing I did too was I fixed all the bottom. You can see there the LEDs now all glow through the whole bottom. So I fixed that up and made sure it glows through the whole bottom of the case. So there's a lot, there's a lot of good stuff that comes out of bad stuff. Another good thing that came out of something bad. Do you know what happened?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So anyway, I washed my jeans the other day, and then I realized, oh, I'm missing a memory card. Because like if I go out on a parts hunt or whatever, I have a spare memory card. I just put it in my little pocket on my jeans. I got a little pocket, and then I'm like, oh no, I left it in the jeans and rolled it through the wash, and then dried all my jeans off and everything. And memory card still works.
Nice. That was a good recovery. I've done that with
Yeah.
thumb drives before. Yeah, same thing where I just forget that they're in there. Like money, when you find money in some clothes that you just watched, it's like free money. Like it just came out of nowhere. It's nice. It's a printer.
Yeah. The money doesn't have electronics in it, so there's the difference. So
Oh, I know, but it's still a good feeling when you find something like that in there.
yeah. But anyway, other than that, we're going to start off today's live stream. We've got some news topics for you guys. Intel in apparently big trouble. I'm going to say that yes and no. I feel like X86, the Apple news is more damning than the delays. I think that's why the stock price is down, because Apple is switching to ARM, and that's huge, man. They just posted a record quarter.
Yeah, but they announced. I mean, the stock price tumbled when Intel announced the delays. It didn't tumble when Apple announced the departure from Intel chips.
Yeah, I know, and that's because people are like, "Oh, we're fed up with this. We're fed up with this. They're not going to be competitive." But
Well, they know too that like Apple is only one, like they're only one buyer, I forget, whatever you would want to call them, of those chips. Intel still has plenty of partners, so to speak, who they sell their chips to. So I don't think that was as big a blow as investors probably.
I'm looking at I'm looking at the trend rather, the trend. But anyway, we'll go through the news and then we'll talk about the trends, because I'm always looking for the trends, right? The trend is it's always going to be your friend. So anyway, the chief engineer, Murthy Renduchintala, I had to say that slow so I didn't butcher it. I know someone's going to be in the comments going to be like, dude, it's spelled Renduchintala. I'm like, okay, dude, I don't know. Anyway.
Just have to throw a disclaimer out there.
Just throwing a disclaimer out there. You can butcher my name too. I even butcher the word Gravis card. I say graphics, but I say it so fast that the YouTube algorithm thinks it's Gravis. So I'm like, all right, we'll just roll with that.
What is Gravis? That's not a word though, is it?
It is a word. It apparently means multiple graphics. Yeah, it means graphics. That's what it means.
No, I know, but the way that they spell it, like that's not a real word. It's substituting it for it. So it's just like, screw it. This is what it sounds like.
That's it. So, well, the share price fell by 16%. They took a tumble. AMD and Nvidia stocks have been rising. Like, have you seen Nvidia's stocks? Like $422.
Yeah, they're above Apple now. Yeah.
They're talking about buying ARM too. That is,
I saw that.
Like, that is like, okay. And this is the thing, like, man, I made a joke about this. Like, not even a joke. I just made some predictions back in 2012. I think I did it on live stream. If you guys followed us, like,
Auto
when I was
shutdown
a real...
initiated.
Okay, what? My headphones? Okay. Hopefully my headphones are still working. It said something about auto shutdown on my headphones. Can you talk for a sec?
Yeah,
It should be good. Yeah, it should be good. Okay, come on, Corsair Wireless. Don't shut down on me. Not during live stream. It should be good.
Wait, it's probably just your battery.
No, I charged them. I charged these before stream. They should be fine. If not, I've got a quick pair of headphones. That'll only be a minor issue, guys, if my headphones cut off. But okay, so we got the share price fell heaps on the Intel stock, and then AMD and Nvidia rose heaps, and then Nvidia. Like anyway, years ago, I made a prediction that Nvidia would actually dominate, not just graphics cards, but also other things as well. And that's looking, if they take over ARM, that could be a massive possibility. You know what I mean? That that's like a scary like reality. And it's like, I got called an idiot at the time, of course. Like people are like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. So I feel
like this is an antitrust thing. Like I feel like this could potentially spark a lot of debate about how big some of these companies are, and if they did follow through with this, I mean, Nvidia would be huge. They're already huge, but this is just to me, this is borderline anti-competitive, I think.
Yeah. So anyway, on the news of Intel just seems to keep going though. That's the thing. Like, I remember like a couple of years ago, it's like they had problems with 10 nanometer, and they're still chugging along. They're still like their revenue is still posting record quarters, and it's kind of like are businesses not adopting to AMD, like like data centers and stuff like that in mass. You know what I mean? Because you've got to follow that money, right? And if businesses aren't adopting in mass to AMD, then that's going to be a problem for AMD, of course. So I don't know. It's a weird situation, because I feel like the 7 nanometer delays for Intel is like another blunder, where they've had 14 nanometer delays with Broadwell. They actually had 14 nanometer delays, believe it or not. Then they had their delays on 10 nanometer, which was widely reported. Now they're reporting 7 nanometer delays. It seems like delays are the norm for Intel. And yeah, it's just like they got to get it together. I mean, 3 strikes in a row for these guys now.
Well, not just that. I mean, they've delayed 10 nanometer more than once. I think that's why people are so pissed. Like, it'd be different if it was just, one time, hey guys, we want to push back the launch. Our yields aren't as great as we thought they would be, yada, yada, yada. But you do it 2 or 3 times. Like, you're on the same arc. You haven't even moved on to the next node. You're on the same node that hasn't been released yet, and you keep pushing further and further back the launch of desktop SKUs on that node. That's just, how many strikes until you're out in that case.
That's exactly right. So I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? It's weird to talk about. It's weird to they've got to get it together, because they will lose a lot of ground, and it'll happen so quickly. That's the thing, right? They'll be cruising along, and then all of a sudden they'll just drop off big time. So at the moment they still have that gaming performance lead, right? They still do have that. But I feel like for the average consumer, if they lose that, which is a big possibility with Zen 3, if they lose that, they are going to be in for a world of hurt, especially on the consumer side. So yeah, they're in murky waters. The only way to say it with Intel, they're in murky waters, man. Murky waters.
Yeah, and I think from our side of it, like just general consumers, we're looking at this like, well, okay, most of us are comfortable with AMD right now. The fact that Intel is sort of letting us down in terms of innovative new stuff coming out, we keep seeing the rehash thing over and over, isn't as big a blow as it could be. Because imagine this happening 6 years ago when we were sitting on pile driver bulldozer stuff, Ashira from AMD, which everyone knew by the time Skylake came out that that process was highly inferior. And then they pushed out the 9590, the chips that could overclock to 5 gigahertz, but it didn't matter because single core performance was still terrible by comparison. Imagine if Intel was having these problems then. I think at that point people would have been way more fed up than they are now. It's just a good thing that we have some viable alternative, and Ryzen happens to be one of the best value launches, I think, in a good while.
Yeah, I mean, Ryzen Zen 2 was their big one. Like, the initial Zen was a taste, and then Zen 2 was just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So anyway, Zen 3, I'm really looking forward to it. Is that going to be the one that breaks Intel properly on all fronts? We're going to find out. That's drum roll. But here's another thing I noticed, right? Notebook check. I should size an NTech directly. Sorry, an NTech. That's just me being lazy with pulling up articles. But they spoke to basically the Intel CFO, right? And he said, okay, the 10 nanometers is going to be less productive than 14 nanometer and 22 nanometer. Then he's like, okay, he's basically saying what they'll see in 7 nanometer. So it's almost as if there's a possibility. I feel like there's a possibility they're just they looked at 10 nanometer. They're like, all right, this is a dud. Let's just try and push it out to laptops and stuff and milk this node as much as we can, because it costs a lot of money to do this stuff.
Like what we said yesterday with Global Foundries. I mean, they ditched 10 nanometer altogether. Like, screw this. Like, we can't, we either started too early or we're just hitting hurdles that aren't worth tackling at this point. We'd rather look even further ahead to 7 and focus all of our resources there. So.
Yeah. So this is scary because it's not scary. It's actually maybe a positive thing for Intel. There's actually two positive things that I've took out of both these articles, or a few of these articles, and that is what they'll see in 7 nanometer. So basically, if you were to decipher that, okay, 7 nanometer is doing pretty well. That's what I'd say. But then they're deliberately delaying it so they can get as much as they can out of their investment on 10 nanometer. That's basically how I'd interpret that. Maybe it's Detective B going too in depth here, and I've been eating too much. Just wait for it.
Auto shutdown cancelled.
Vegemite!
I hate that I can't hear it. It sucks.
Okay.
I feel like I'm missing
I just said, it says have some of this Vegemite. You want to hear it one more time?
Want some of this?
Oh my
Vegemite!
Okay. All right. So anyway, we've got here. So back to the other article. The second piece of good news is Ann Kelleher has taken over the place where Mr. Murphy left, and I've met her at an event, and she's brilliant. So just like I said, Lisa Su was going to be brilliant when she stepped into AMD, I'm predicting that Ann's going to do some great work for Intel in this division. So there's my prediction there. So I think, hey, whatever's going on, it might be maybe a turnaround for Intel. This might be their turning point. But of course, they're going to have to deal with Zen 3 in the process. So,
Brian, somebody's saying that I think it's got to be your headset because mine's not doing it, but they say they can hear every 30 to 60 seconds that beep about the battery warning or whatever.
Oh, they can hear that coming out of stream?
I think they can, yeah.
All right, well, I'll just keep the soundboard up. I think that fixes it.
Want some of this? Vegemite!
All right, that should be good. Instead of hearing that, we'll go. Anyway, next up here, we've got, okay, so Apple. Let's talk about ARM and Apple. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's always got to be a problem when I live stream. So just
that's any live stream. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of problem. I think the headset thinks it's idle. So what's happening is it's going into automatic shutdown mode when it shouldn't be. So if I play the soundboard, that might be the savior. So anyway, Apple, they posted a 84.3 billion. Wait, sorry. I read this one wrong. Okay. So they blew away the expectations, sorry. They got
Which article is this? Oh, this is Q1. Yeah.
Yeah, so their revenue is, sorry, there's so many billions here that I'm missing. So basically their revenue grew again for 2020 first quarter, and that grew over 2019, which grew over 2018. So
yeah, I was going to say this is Q1. Like they just released Q2 earnings, by the way, like 2 days ago or yesterday, actually. I only know that because I hold Apple stock, but they're up 11% year over year for Q2 as well, despite all of this going on.
That's so crazy. basically people just keep buying Apple products. That's a trend, right? So we're looking at the trending. This is the most important thing. People keep buying Apple products. It doesn't matter. Yep. I haven't got one Apple product in my studio. Like I just don't use Apple stuff. I don't. There's always PC. I guess any enthusiast PC users maybe don't have Apple. I mean, some people do. This is the funny thing. Some people use the MacBooks, the actual notebooks, and then they use a enthusiast desktop. X86, I mean Windows, Linux. But this is the weirdest thing, right? That I find it baffling how so many people just give away their money to Apple.
Yeah, and with the trend recently too, with how expensive phones are. I mean, you remember this wasn't very long ago when a flagship phone was maybe $600. And that was considered back then a lot of money. I know there's inflation and other things to account for some of that. But I mean, the amount of R&D that goes into just the chipsets alone, like the cameras, how crazy good the freaking mobile cameras are now, especially Apple cameras, Google Pixel cameras, like the software behind these cameras as well. It's just insane that people are willing to just pay over $1,000 for. I've never spent anywhere near that personally. I did for Lisa, but that's only because she's a hardcore Apple fangirl. But I personally never would have spent that much. I would never have done the payment plans where you're pay by the month or you subsidize it into your data plan or whatever for yourself. I've never understood that. That's so much money for something that you're going to get rid of in a year or two for something even better,
So here's the thing. This is the thing, right? We got. So this is the thing. I bought an Apple iPhone 3 back when it was first released. That was my first and last Apple product. That thing became so bad after a year that I had to chuck it. I just chucked it in the bin out of frustration because I remember I was getting a call. It was some really important call, and like my battery just shut off. And I'm like, what? I had like 60% charge or something on the battery. And I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Flip phone was more reliable than this latest and greatest iPhone 3. And that was at the time. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm never buying an Apple product again. But at that time, I already got hosed. I already gave my money to Apple. So that was like, yeah, I guess you learn the hard way. So, yeah. Anyway, we got a donation to it. I'll save that. I'll copy paste that, and I will talk about it when we go to chat. So, next article here is we've got the ARM. Apple's moving over to ARM. And this is a big one because I feel like this is a massive one, right? Because they've used Intel for so long. If it sets a trend, and this is what I was talking about, if it sets a trend, Mr. Greg, if this sets a trend where other companies start ditching Intel and going to ARM, that's a dangerous trend right there.
I doubt it, though. There's too much. These are okay. So ARM is they're manufacturing the chips, right? But Apple's designing them. Like Apple's chips that are in, I know like Lisa has like an iPod or iPad Pro that has like this blazing fast chip, and I forget if it's like the A13 or A12, whatever. But they're really good because they design them around the software. And when you have like that kind of harmony, it seems that much snappier. It's like a really good tune on a car. It's just software, but if you get your fuel mixtures right and all that stuff, like your car just runs so much better. I don't think that a lot of these other companies are capable financially or even willing to just like reallocate resources around to design their own chips. I think that's too big of a bridge to gap for a company like HP or Lenovo or whoever else, uses Intel OEM stuff for their desktops. I don't see that. Apple's Apple. They're just on a different planet.
Well, according to this article, it's saying they're approximately 4.5% of the laptop market and 2.6% of the desktop market. So that's what they're saying. The financial impact's not going to be significant. I'm just looking, as I said before, looking at the trend here. That's the biggest thing. So if it sets a precedent where, hey, and this is the thing, if ARM is the better architecture, if it is the better way to go, then maybe people will realize that. I don't know. It's just, it sets one of those things that it could snowball. That's what I'm trying to say. It could potentially snowball when we're like, hey, look at what this can do. Look at what ARM can do versus x86 processors.
They've been traditionally they've been much weaker traditionally. I mean, they're for lower, I don't want to say lower tier things. They have different applications. I mean, that's why we haven't seen it yet. And I think the reason why Apple can do it because of the operating system. The operating system is so much like it is like iOS, even Mac OS. Like you can do so much more when you design a processor around that operating system. It makes things so much more efficient. You don't have to sculpt your preferences around just some cookie cutter chip out there, and that's why Apple, I think they have this right mix because they do the software, they make their own software, it's proprietary stuff, and then they're also on the other side going to manufacture their own chips to coincide with that. I mean, that's both sides of the coin right there they're trying to tackle. So that's why I think it's an Apple exclusive. They're the only company that has their own like widely accepted operating system. Love it or hate it, Mac OS, iOS, it's proliferated.
Okay, I mean that's a good argument. I think going forward, right? Going forward with Apple using ARM.
Auto shutdown initiated.
Oh, sorry about this, guys.
Auto shutdown cancelled.
Vegemite!
Oh, the headset doing it again?
I don't know the timing on it. If someone knows the timing between when a Corsair initiates, because it thinks it's idle, and I'm listening to you, right? Everyone's getting your audio. I'm listening to your audio. It must be some kind of bug that I didn't account for. So it must be OBS Streamlabs must be locking in the channel directly for the line of audio, and so it thinks it's idle, which is weird. Anyway, my biggest thing is that there are supercomputers using ARM chips now, right? Like I
Wait,
think
what?
in Japan, like there's some.
Oh.
I think it's like, is it Fuji or something? Someone's using like ARM in their supercomputers, right?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the thing. So that's it.
Hmm.
They're using it in supercomputers. So I think like this is a bad trend that's going to go through for x86, because I'm an x86 enthusiast. Let's be right. I'm an x86 enthusiast. I think a lot of people are. And I mean, what would be a world? What would, in the questions, what would a world be like with no more x86 and only ARM? So anyway, we got up here the next article. We got Ryzen 7 Pro 4750G and the new desktop Ryzen 4000 series. Have you seen that? Have you?
Not the desk. I mean, we were talking about the APUs, just the APUs, right?
Yeah.
Not 4000 series. Like, because there's a difference. Because like the 4000 series APUs are Zen 2, not Zen 2 Plus or Zen 3, whatever. Just want to make sure that people aren't confused by that. Yeah, but I've seen the APUs, and I've got to say that probably the most appealing part of this, the part I'm most intrigued by, is the TDP. I mean, these chips have, look at the 4750 GE max boost up to 4.3. Okay, that's not stellar. Base clock of 3.1, but the default TDP is 35 watts. Like, how are you getting that much power into a chip that's only consuming, less than half of what its regular desktop SKU is?
Well, the biggest thing for me is like I'm looking at the Pro series, right? The desktop SKUs anyway. So I'm not looking at the mobile. Like the desktop, the Ryzen 7 Pro 4750G. Like what I'm seeing here is that they've got the Zen 2 cores on them, which is great, but they've left the Vega graphics on there. And so if you look at the comparisons, there's actually a few comparisons up online. And it's really not that much better than a 3400G when it comes to gaming. So people, I would love to see them put RDNA cores in this thing, in their APUs. And
Yeah,
really
I think it'd be too hot. It'd be too, like, I don't think they could fit all that into an AM4 chip. I just don't think it's like physically possible.
I think it's possible for them to do something pretty cool. Like they can do something better than 3400G, and then that would make actually like imagine getting like just a cheap 4-core 8-thread with RDNA, like a little piece of RDNA in there that could actually play games pretty well. You would have that coupled with maybe like, this is a possibility, right? Couple that with a cheap A320, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and you get yourself a really good gaming PC. Of course, the DDR4 RAM speeds would come into effect since it is running off that. But it opens up for a world of possibilities. So, yeah.
A couple people are saying, who believes TDP? My 105 watt CPU pulls 150 all day. Just so we're clear, like Intel and AMD measure TDP differently. It's like totally different. And Intel especially uses some very sneaky ways of getting around the traditional TDP standard because they have other core enhancement features that will allow the chip to consume far more than what it's rated for. AMD not as much. AMD I found is much more conservative and much more true to their TDP than Intel. So if you're using your Intel chip to compare my reference to TDP, I think that's like totally off in left field just because the companies do it totally different.
Okay. Well, I mean, TDP is one of those things where I like to wait and see how it is. There's a TDP spec.
Yeah.
I think there's a TDP spec, which they're all manipulating now, right? They're all like,
they are.
Here's the base.
But one is doing it more. One is clearly manipulating TDP way more than the other. And that's the point I wanted. Because it sounds like the 105 watt.
Intel's definitely. Intel's definitely pushing that TDP boundary. Yeah, it's a 65 watt chip. Huh? Why is it running at 105
Plus you overclock
watts?
and I mean there's so many variables there, but stock you should see it go, double what the rated TDP is. That's just
TDP is a joke. Like the guys in the chat have got it right on the money. Like when can we just get a realistic up to? I think that's the best way to look at it. Up to.
Well, because every chip is different. I mean, that's the thing. Like, even if you're in the same family of chip, let's say you have two, 3700Xs at the same frequency and the same voltage, one could still pull more power from the wall than the other. Just by the nature of how efficient each chip is. how much degradation there is in terms of what transistors function, which ones don't. I mean, there's a certain threshold for passing as a certain SKU, but you could have one better bin than the other that just can do the same amount of work by consuming less power. So it's not even like a blanket statement would be accurate, because then you're making your chips seem worse than they are, worse than they should be, and they're definitely not going to do that.
Okay.
Nice sweat, mate.
All right. So anyway, I had to do the soundboard. So we got the next article up here. And this is the Eve Switch handheld gaming PC sports Ryzen 4500U, 6 gigabytes of RAM. Have you seen this little thing?
No.
Like, it looks really cool. It's basically like a Nintendo Switch, but with like PC parts in it. And they're packing 16 gigabytes of DDR4, 4266 RAM in it. Like, it's huge. Like, this thing's going to be I would like to get one just because it looks so cool, and it's got PC hardware in it. And you can just do so much. You got so much freedom with that. You can run all your emulations, no problems. There's no, yeah. So it's Anyway, I absolutely love little things like this. I thought it'd be cool to share this with you guys. I thought this was like one of those things that I'd love to check out personally, because it just looks like it's what's possible now with technology. Anyhow, that's that article done and dusted. We now got so there's rumors now of the RTX 3090 50% faster than the RTX 2080 Ti in the early benchmarks. So I guess it's looking like it's pretty concrete at this stage that RTX 3000 is going to be big. But I still don't know. Like, it just seems like it's shift between late this, like, we're in August now, so it's later this month or early next month or mid next month, later next month. There's still that gap of when it's exactly going to be in our hands and you can actually buy this thing. That's what I'm finding. We've got a bit of a weird one going on, that's for sure. Anyhow,
I don't even think you sent me that article. I don't even have that article in here.
No, I did pull a little shifty on you, I got to admit.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. I was looking for it.
I pulled a little shifty on Greg before we went to it.
I'd say.
And then there's
go ahead.
Then we got a fake 6900 XT article, and they Adored TV debunked it with they said the shadows on the radiator don't match the card, and it's like, yeah, that's true. I mean, AMD is going to do something. It's just, when are we going to see actual leaked benchmarks? And that's the thing, right? If you're seeing leaked Nvidia benchmarks, you're definitely going to see leaked AMD benchmarks. Nvidia have such tight control over their leaks. AMD, man, were you at this event in the US where they said don't leak this?
LA.
Yeah, and they said don't leak this information, and literally an hour later, it's just all over the internet, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're signing NDAs to not, you're agreeing to not spread the information, publicize the information that's under NDA, but there are so many different people there who I'm sure passed along the information on the DL, unofficially. And then these media outlets that just thrive off of rumors and leaks are going to go ham, as usual. So I always take these with a huge grain of salt. I mean, some of them have been accurate, and that's great, but I never take leaks or especially rumors as gospel, because I've seen some pretty ridiculous leaks that people thought were true definitely not happen, and people were upset by it. People fell for the hype and then were disappointed because their expectations were set so high with some of these products, so you got to be careful.
Rightio.
That's it. So anyway, I got the RDR button. That's going to keep my headsets from bumping off the stream, but I completely agree. But AMD, I'm going to say one thing. AMD has a leak problem. They've got a problem where they're trying to weed out all these leaks and stop them from happening. So there it is. That's with that. I'm going to wait for some actual proper benchmarks that we can see and people are like, wow. Anyway, last thing we're going to talk about before we go to chat is stock prices. I mean, I can't believe this. Both Nvidia and AMD are just through the roof. I mean, I don't touch stocks personally because I just don't believe in them. But I mean, who would have predicted that Nvidia would be up to $424? In 3 months, the stock prices have over doubled for a massive multinational company. Then we got AMD. It's pretty much the same story, almost a double job. And then we got Intel. They're just like, hey guys, what's up?
Go back to AMD. Pull up the 5-year chart. I've said this so much. Yeah, on AMD.
Yeah. Oh man,
No,
if you
no,
bought
no.
it $2.
Not Nvidia. Oh, sorry, I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking at the live stream. But yeah, and if you'd bought it at like $2 or $3, like,
Yeah.
can you imagine?
It's almost like
Like,
Bitcoin. It's almost like Bitcoin at that stage. Hey, actually,
yeah,
it kind of is a Bitcoin scenario. Yeah. Like, hey
it's just
guys, you want to buy some Bitcoin? Here they are. Wait, I mean AMD stock.
oh my god. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, hindsight's 2020. But
Yeah.
geez, if I had, I mean, look, this was literally, and the stock started doing well when Zen came out. When Zen 1 launched, that was kind of about the time that
Yeah.
the stock started moving off of single digits.
Yeah.
And since then, man, it's just, and now it's sort of an inverse of Intel, where if Intel does bad, AMD does good. And the opposite, I'm sure, would be true as well if we heard some bad news from AMD, but I don't think that's
Well,
coming
that's the
anytime soon.
thing. Now I'm starting to realize how it works. I don't know, right? Would we get done for insider trading if we I just quickly do a quick radio. Hang on.
Rightio.
So would we get done for insider trading if we bought AMD stock? This is the thing. I have no idea about the legalities of this. If we get say for instance we bought a heap of AMD stock,
Yeah.
and then we're
I've thought-
like,
I've
and
thought
then
about
we're
this.
and then we're like on our channels, we're like, guys, this is the best thing. You got to keep buying this, and you just keep spamming people with how positive AMD is, or say for instance Nvidia or whatever.
I mean,
know what
it's no different than like anybody else giving stock tips online. I think that as long as you disclose where your investments are, to an extent, you're probably okay. Just because I'm relating it to what I see on CNBC and wherever else, where people are saying, "Hey, this stock is great. I've got, I've got 1,000 shares and so, and I think that they're going to do well in the future." Like, you're just recommending people buy the stock. Insider trading is when, like, something that the public doesn't because it hasn't been announced to the public yet, and you trade on that information without the stock reacting yet because the stock hasn't gotten a chance to react to it yet because nobody knows about it. Maybe the case for us would be like if we were sent samples for Ryzen 4000 desktop SKUs and we got them a month ahead of time. You and I tested them the night we got them, said, wow, these things are game changers. They are insanely good. And then we bought a bunch of AMD stock before the public knows how the chips perform, because we
Okay.
know, like, for whatever reason, these chips are just like miracles from heaven, and the stock's going to freaking skyrocket. I feel like
Okay.
that would be more applicable than
But then again,
just,
where's the line, right? Because we have
yeah, sure.
NDAs,
Yeah.
because we have NDAs, I'm pretty sure we are in a situation where we couldn't do that because we've got that
Yeah.
privileged information under NDA. So it does make for a interesting article. I'm just going to quickly do a Vegemite quickly here.
Want some of this? Vegemite.
Okay. And now back to questions. So let's go. We'll jump over to Q&A because, yeah, we got AMD stock price. If you bought AMD stock as well, congratulations. You made an amazing decision. You made an amazing decision. Nvidia stock too. Like, if you bought Nvidia stock, like, back in 2016, around the same time, if you just like, look, I'm going to buy Nvidia stock, AMD stock. To be fair, look, dude, if you look at the Nvidia stock, to be fair, it's almost seen the same price increase in percentages. Like, not.
I mean,
not
to be
AMD's
frank, though,
made
a lot of tech stocks are a lot.
AMD's made a bigger, of course, AMD's made a bigger jump, but Nvidia still made a massive jump in the 5 year.
And this, I mean, if you put
Intel,
$1,000 into the S&P, even if you, let's say you did it in 1995, right, and then you went through the dot-com crash, and then you went through the housing crisis in '08, like, you'd still be up. I mean, like, the market almost always corrects unless a country ceases to exist, or that country's markets or that currency that it's reliant on just disappears. But the markets always recover. And that's why people, throw their money into mutual funds and bonds, ETFs, and just straight up stocks for the long term, because it'll give you way more returns even after you go through all of those economic downturns than a bank will, giving you 0.5% of interest a year. Banks are laughable at this point.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. I just have to take a step back, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm just gonna keep doing what I do, and that's building PCs and making tech videos for y'all. That's it. Like, who could predict that?
Ryan, you're a
this
little
would
risk
happen?
averse there, huh? Risk
I am,
averse?
man. Who could predict that this was gonna happen in 2020, man? Like, I'm thinking, nah. Like, some of the Bitcoin guys out there have a point. This is why Bitcoin was made, man. Governments are printing money at stupid levels. I read an article this morning. I woke up and got it on my phone. It's a cool article. And it said the government printed in the last month more money than they've had in debt since 1776. Is that when the US was founded?
Yeah,
And
I guess technically, yeah.
until like 1979 or something. In 200 years, in 1 month, they've printed more money than they've incurred in all their debt for 200 years.
You know why, right? Because we went off of the gold standard at around that time. I think in it was like 81 or something like that, maybe late 70s. But it was around that time when we ditched the gold standard, which means our money no longer relies on another commodity, a fixed commodity. And because we took it off of that, we went fiat, and we can print as much as we want now, and now we just have the consequence of having to deal with how our currency stacks up to others, not necessarily how our currency stacks up to what we have in reserve, which is, I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's how it is now.
Rightio.
That's it, man. Rightio. So anyway, we'll go over to Q&A. Let's see what the audience has to. They're actually enjoying the deep and meaningful conversations. But we did get we got some donations before. So hi guys, love the stream. Could you do a viewers build segment to see some of the builds the other guys who are subbed here have? And yeah, I will do that. Like, I would love if you guys want to submit your used. I want to do used builds, like what you can do on a budget. That would be my thing, right? I'd love to see what some of the,
that way it's not just cookie cutter from other channels.
I'd love to see what some of the viewers have done that is unique, right? Because you can do so much with PC. I'd love to see what some of the viewers have done with unique things, like really unique things. And I know there's going to be some cool Xeons out there. There'd be cool Ryzen first gen stuff. There'd be some really cool cookie cutter stuff out there. I mean, what about you on your channel? Would you do?
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, like, I don't want to be like everyone else. Like, I don't want to do the same things that they all do, and to an extent, that's unavoidable. But like when it comes to reviewing builds, like I think my take on that already is like reviewing, the ridiculous ads and stuff. And I've done some where like the ads are really good. I'm like, hey, y'all should check this one out because it's actually priced fairly well. So that's kind of like how that's kind of my spin on it. Like, I'll look at just listings online or even viewers listings. They'll submit to me like, hey, what do you think about my build? Do you think I've priced it well enough? And kind of go from there. I guess that's how I've approached it. Yeah.
Okay. So we got a question here about upgrading, of course. And it's always the same thing. It's like, should I upgrade to
Yeah,
should I?
I have a video on this.
So we'll be serious. Should I wait until next GPUs come out or upgrade from R9 290 to GTX 1080 or Vega 64? Just wait until the next. We're so close to the next gen coming out that you might as well wait for that to happen.
Yeah. And if you have to ask, like, if you don't need it so bad to the point where like you don't want to ask because you need it that bad, you can probably wait. I mean, that's my.
But that being said, I do remember before the RTX 2000 series was released, I remember 1080 Ti prices here. They were down to like 820 Aussie brand new, and dude, they still carry around that price point. Like, they're a little bit lower, but this is like, whatever, over 2 years later, you haven't lost much money. So graphics cards, you can see trends here. Let's go back to our little friend, the trend.
You mean Gravis cards?
Gravis cards, right. Gravis cards. They have changed over the years, where if you had a GTX 6 series, when the 9 series came out, that thing was worth nothing. So you had your $400 GTX 670 being worth peanuts now. But now what you're seeing is, because it's slowing down and because, like, you got to look at the mid-range, not the upper echelon. That just keeps the upper echelon.
Those are always going to be more and more expensive.
Yeah, it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
It's like cell phones. It's like cell phones. Like, they're just going to keep going up in price. Yeah.
That's it. So the performance you get more. But
you're paying for it.
Yeah, but you're paying for it. That's how. Just like this AMD stock, you're paying for it. You want some of the AMD stock, fellas? $80 a pop. You want some Nvidia stock? Ladies and gentlemen, $425 a pop. Come and get it. Come just for one little share in Nvidia. You know how many shares are there in Nvidia?
Their market cap has got to be, let me see.
I mean, but how many actual shares have been issued?
Well, you would just look at the market cap. That'll tell you, I believe, how much money
versus a share. Yeah, that's true.
Divide that by the share
But do you want to
price.
you pull up the calculator. I'm not touching this string. I'm only just doing little sound
They're at
bites.
261 billion to 261.12. Oh, I shouldn't
Greg's
have done
doing the math.
Rightio.
20 0 0 0 0 0 0 divided by 424.5. I don't even know if I did this right. I don't really remember much of what I learned in school, to be frank. 615 million roughly shares, if I did that correct. Someone in the chat, if I did it wrong, they're going to yell at me, but I think that's how
it doesn't matter. So there's over how many shares again?
615 million, if I did that correctly. I think.
Okay, guys, go get one slice of that for $425. That's right. Go get one slice of that 600 million. Oh yeah, that's a big number, right? I think
actually too, though, like the stock price changes over time. So, and then if you split, just like Apple's probably gonna do a 4-to-1 split with their stock, so that'll screw things up. I don't know. It's in the multi millions of shares out there. Let's say.
I just think it's funny, man. Like, yeah, this is the reality of it, right? When you put it that way, it's like go get one little slice of that for $4. I mean, like that's people can live off that for quite a while especially in some countries, man. And you got one of 600 million. Like, it's going to get to the stage where it's like, hey, it will represent 8 billion people. So like, which company has 8 billion stocks? So like, yeah. Anyway, it's crazy to think about it. So anyway, back to Q&A. So what's my GTX 964 gigabyte G1 worth now? Actually, a little bit. The 4 gigabytes of VRAM is the saving grace. That is the saving grace for that card. So if you bought
which card are we talking about? Sorry, which card?
The GTX 960. 4
Oh
gigabyte.
yeah, the 4 gig
SKU.
SKU. Yeah, because they had the 2 and the 4. Yeah.
That's it. He's got the 4 gigabyte SKU, so he did well. So anyway, not many people are just talking to each other. We're not getting any questions in here.
Yeah, they seem to be. I mean, they're talking about what we're talking about. They're just chatting with us about.
Okay, rock on. This is usually we get flooded with questions. And I gotta just go back through it. It's cool. Okay, keep this up, guys. I love
tracking
this.
the market. He said 650 million shares outstanding and change.
Wow, that's So 650 million shares. That's huge. So I mean, yeah. I mean, look, I'm a deal hunter. Like, as a deal hunter, I look at this and I'm like, that's not a deal.
I mean, there are premiums. Like a lot of stocks now, especially depending on who you ask, people will tell you that these stocks are at premium prices, like way above the threshold for being premium, just because of how quickly some of these stocks rebounded after the drop. So,
Rightio.
who knows, man?
That's it.
Just
so
keeps going up.
That's the main thing about it. So we got the soundboard popping. Let's go. Is X58 dead? It is going that way. I'm going to say it is going that way a bit. But of course, if you can pick up, this is the thing. If you can pick up, as I say with X58, if you can pick up the board and the CPU and the RAM cheap enough, it's going to make for a fine gaming PC. I mean, personally, I'm thinking like locally where I'm at, X58 is starting to become less frequent. So it's not really dead. It's just there's not much being sold. And then because it's drying up so much, the amount of X58 being sold is really sort of squeezing out. And then people are like, well, that's a nice board. Someone still wants that. So yeah, I mean, I get X58 boards. If I pull them out of $50 systems, I'm not going to lie. I go and get that X58 board and pop it on eBay and make a hefty little profit while I've got the CPU and the RAM still there. So X58 boards, sometimes they're too good to put in budget PCs because they're worth way more than they should be in a budget PC. So I would say it's more like X58's a weird sort of, it's always going to have a place in my heart. But yes, in mainstream, like picking up deals for X58, that is slowly dying. That's what I think. X79 though, that's where X79, the shift's just like, hey, let's just jump onto X79 and X99. So it's like an easy transition. It's like, hey, here's the next best thing. And it's still cheap. It's still the exact same argument and formula that X58 was. So you're just getting more cores, more threads, and you can utilize cheap DDR3 ECC registered more than you ever could, especially with those X99 boards off AliExpress. That's amazing. So anyway, wireless headset recommendations. I'm only using this headset because on this stream, this is a spare headset. I'm going to go back to the Virtuoso, which is wireless and wired. I think for me, like we got asked which is a good wireless headset. I'd say the Virtuoso is really good. And
yeah, the audio, like the microphone on the virtuosos.
next stream.
Yeah.
See, I thought because I had the Wave 3 that I could get away using wireless, but then I've got to hit my soundboard every couple of minutes with a
Rightio.
and to make it smooth. You know what I mean? I've got to keep that, otherwise it starts initiating auto shutdowns. Like, no, I wouldn't get this problem with wired, and that's why this is like, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I just don't like wireless stuff in general. There's always an extra problem that could go wrong. And if it can go wrong, what is it? Murphy's Law? If it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Whatever can happen will happen. Yeah, it's kind of a weird like law. It's like one of those laws where it's like duh, but like you know, it's a philosophical thing, I guess. So it makes people feel smart when they say it.
So we got asked, how much do you guys think a Strix 1080 is worth? GTX 1080, plain vanilla, not the 1080 Ti.
A regular in USD, a 1080. If I can find one for 300, even today, that would be a buy. A lot of them now are about 350 though. Strixes are going for even more than that, it seems.
Yeah, I'd say 300 US, 400 Aussie. Yeah, that's where you want to get them at. Of course, they go for a little bit more, but that's where you want to get them at. Exactly. So I completely agree. Yeah, Greg, you're getting your used radar up a little bit.
I know my used graphics card. That's the one thing I've been a huge proponent of. I'm like, look, if you don't want to buy new, you know, if you want to save some money and you're not huge on like the peace of mind, you get one fresh out of the box, like buy used. Like graphics cards are, you know, a dime a dozen on eBay. Even now, like with how tight some of the inventories are, you can still find a number of graphics cards on eBay for decent prices. Maybe not the best, you know, maybe not as good as they used to be, but they're still competitive. You know,
to the moon, man. Bitcoin to the moon. Do you reckon it's going to go to the moon?
Bitcoin to the moon. I have no idea. My brother is so big on Bitcoin. I've never touched Bitcoin or like any cryptocurrency just because a lot of it used to be totally unregulated. And a lot of them are pump and dumps as well. I'm
still mining Zencash, believe it or not. So I just,
really,
I'm just
what are you mining with? What do you have?
I got two ASIC miners upstairs. So
okay.
Yeah, they're on. This is the thing, right? They're on the Corsair power supply, and they're whisper quiet. And before that, I was like, why are these things so loud? It was the power supplies they included. Just a quick radio. And the power supplies they included were just garbage. Like, they weren't garbage. They just had these really loud 40 mil fans, and they just screamed like jets. And so, I was like, what is this? And I didn't want to touch my miners because I didn't want to disturb them. But no, Zencash has been good to me. And it's one thing that I've said on the channel in the last couple of years. It hasn't been that good. Like in the last year, it's just been completely flat. There's nothing happening with it. But it's the only cryptocurrency I sort of delve in, and it's been fun. It has been a lot of fun. So,
but see, you're mining it. You're not just trading it. Like you're actually mining it.
I'm mining it, but I mean that's the thing. I wanted, the main reason I wanted to mine it too was like, you're a proponent of what you do, right? So if you jump on an ASIC miner, you're then pushing people out with GPUs, and it's like then I'm collecting those GPUs on the used market. So it was like, hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, everyone should buy up ASIC miners and then put the GPUs back to the people, and that's what I did. So I think if you practice what you preach, you're going to have a fulfilled life, Greg. You're going to have a fulfilled life.
Oh, is that so? So? Philosopher Brian here tonight, just killing it. All right.
Okay, so now we got the questions coming in. I think when we ask for questions, people just start going ham. So I've lost track. We had something about GTX. Okay, in the UK, I've sold GTX 970s for £100. What's that in the US? 130 US. Yeah, that's about right. Like, that's pretty much about a RDR.
I'm
going to give you a RDR on that one. Wireless headset depends if you want to spend $200 or $800. Yeah, that's true. We'll quickly go through some more questions. If you see a question too that's juicy, just jump on it. So is $60 US a good price to sell LGA 1366 ASUS P6T locally? I'd say it's a little undervalued. You can usually get closer, like I'd say about 80 to 90 US you could get. But if you're conscious about making a little, that's a ribeye fillet steak, bro. I wouldn't turn that down. So that's just my opinion there. Will Zen 3 be more expensive than Zen 2 at launch? That's a good question. Oh, I like this one. I got to sit back and think about this. Will Zen 2 be more than Zen 3? Will that be more? What do you think? You go first. What do you think? Will Zen 3 be more expensive than Zen 2 at launch?
It depends on a number of things, I think. I think the rate the markets are going now, depending on how currencies are affected by governments just printing cash, I think that you could end up paying more just as a result of just pure inflation, or depending on how far we go into this, you also have a deflationary spiral risk as well, which would mean you have problems getting money at all, and your money's worth way more than it used to be. But I think that aside, the yield, I mean, the yields, that's going to be a big challenge for any manufacturer going forward, especially as you're approaching that threshold of 5 nanometer and beyond. Like, you're getting into some seriously crazy, like wacky physics when you're talking about ultra nanoscopic degrees of precision. So I expect the yields will be worse, especially in the beginning. And I think because of that, we'll see higher prices per chip. But I think that people will be willing to pay those those premiums if the chips are that much better. Maybe not from an efficiency standpoint. And a lot of people said that power consumption is not a huge deal to them. That's fine, whatever. If the chip runs a little hot, that's fine, whatever. If it's just core for core, that much better, I think they'll be okay with it. I mean, how much worse can it get? Intel's already kind of shafting us on their side with prices. So unless they turn into an Intel, I don't see people complaining nearly as much.
Too right.
That's it. I just said too right. So anyway,
Too right.
That's it. I agree with that. My gut reaction, though, I was kind of like just gut reaction. I think, yes, I think they're going to be more expensive. Mm-hmm. That's just my gut reaction, right? I look at all the factors going on, like you said, inflation, government's just printing money. I think that's what's going to happen. Zen 2 will be cheaper than Zen 3. Same core. Like, we're talking core for core. So good question. I like it. I'm going to go with, Zen 3 will be more expensive. And you've got trends as well. B550 is more expensive than B450. X570 was more expensive than X470. I'm just going to put my money down on, going to be more expensive. So let's move over now to the next question, baby. Oh, yeah, we got to do our accents. So have you been, man, I've even got you a soundboard here.
Too right.
And you've got a soundboard now with Aussie noises. So you can come on the stream and you can practice your Aussie. So with human malware aside, do you ever put tech yes loving into restoring a mechanical keyboard? Me, cleaning out mechanical keyboards. I did one in the recent parts hunt. How I clean mechanical keyboards is so, like, I've watched people, I've seen these videos where they're cleaning, and they're spending hours and hours on cleaning a mechanical keyboard. I've just got the quick tech yes method, dude. Just get the brush, like I've got the soft brush, just hose it in multi-purpose spray, just clean it all up. Data vac, bang, that thing comes up like brand new. And it only takes me 5 minutes. Now, when I've got 20 keyboards coming in that are all used from Les or from other people that I get the used keyboards from and they're dirty, I got to clean these things up quick and get results. So yeah, I do clean keyboards, but I clean them in a different manner. I go 99% with 10% of the time. So, I mean, or maybe some people would be like, no, it's only 80%, bro, 80% of the cleanliness. So anyway, yeah, that's what we got. So, okay, I think we're not going to go into crypto too much because we will start up a crypto conversation that we'll never come back from it. We'll never come back from it.
Hole.
So, what's the cutoff for Pascal cards to be somewhat future-proof? Nothing ever really truly is future-proof, right? Especially graphics cards versus CPUs. I'd say CPUs have had a much better run than graphics cards. So when you're talking about graphics cards, I'd say, I mean, your 980, what is Pascal's that 980 Ti? Sorry, Pascal's 10 series. Sorry, man.
10 series.
Okay, yeah, 10 series. So 1080 Ti is still going to be fine. 1080 is going to be fine. 1070 is going to be fine. 1060 is going to start struggling a little bit, I think, with some of the games coming out soon. And that's so I'd say cutoff would be 1070 for, like, you know, if you're talking 1080p, just good smooth FPS at high settings or whatever. Yeah, that's your cutoff. Let's go next question. Next questionamo. But you both said mining GPUs were killed by Intel. What? What do you mean killed by? What do you mean? I don't understand that question.
It might have
maybe they're talking about to each other. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone said, do you think $45 is a good deal for an H510, even though you don't recommend it? I don't necessarily not recommend the H510. I think it's a nice looking case. It's not the best for airflow, but it'll do. It's not horrid. $45 that's a great price. So I would definitely consider that, especially in like a budget build where you want your system to like look more presentable than it otherwise would in like a $300 build or $400 build. I think $45 that's a fair price for H510, even used.
Okay. So now we've got okay, well we're gonna start wrap up. I think there's just could Ryzen 4000 compete or beat Intel current gen in gaming? It could, yeah. That's what we're all waiting for that. I think no one's gonna know until it's released. And I think AMD is really gonna work hard on that. They know that's their last thing they have to do is they have to beat Intel at gaming. If they can beat Intel at gaming, then they're going to finally be able to put them like then the AMD fanboys can finally go, yep, Intel's finished. But until then, Intel still is winning out on FPS in games, and it depends on which game you look at. So they still are on top in general.
Too right.
Just going to hit a 2 right there.
2 right.
That's it. 10900K worth it at $400 versus 3900X. 10900K is a good CPU, man. I'm using that right now. So I'm doing a video where if you guys saw on Twitter and Instagram stuff, I made an AMD rig. I'm going to try the 3950X because I just jumped off X299. That was really good for editing videos. 18 core, 36 threads. That thing was huge. It was really good for editing it in Adobe. I called it the unstoppable force. It was a beast. Then we've got I've been trying the 10900K in the last week, and I can already tell the differences. There are positives and negatives. That's the bottom line. There's no silver bullet. There's no silver bullet in tech for anything you do. Remember this, guys. There's no magical CPU that's just going to do everything the best. And I think you've seen that with Threadripper. You've seen that with Ryzen. You've seen that with Intel as well. They've got their own X299 platforms. They've got their own mainstream desktop. So there's no silver bullet in tech. And so is a 10900K worth it? Depends what you're going to do. But I can tell you now, it is a good CPU, a really good CPU.
I think the biggest problem I have with the 10900K is you can't even find it in stock for the price it's supposed to be listed at. I mean, if it was at MSRP everywhere, that'd be one thing. But the only people selling them, at least in the States on Amazon, where I imagine a lot of people are buying them, are third-party, small mom and pop shops marking them up by 80%. It's insane. Like that is the most frustrating part to me is I can't even, even if I wanted to recommend a 10900K, I couldn't because there's nowhere financially feasible to buy one, At least responsibly.
In Australia, they're coming in stock. I think they got the 10850K as well because of bins. They had to release some of these CPUs that didn't make it to 10900K, so that's fair enough. I got a question here. When will we see the HuananZhi X99 TF?
Too right.
That's it. I didn't know you guys wanted a review of that. I've got it here. And I didn't even know that you guys wanted to review it. So I'll review it. If you guys want to see the HuananZhi, the X99, I got the 12 core for it. I'll review it with the 12 core. That's not a problem. I love X99. I'll also probably do that BIOS mod for it. I got to say, I do apologize for the last 2 months there's been a lot of work coming through, in terms of other sponsor spots and all this other stuff. And I have been super busy with flipping as well. And I don't show a lot of that on the channel. I wish I could. And people are like, why don't you stream, bro? Why don't you stream? And why don't you stream your deals hunts? It's too hard in Australia. Aussie internet sucks. As you saw yesterday on the live stream, it cut out. And that was just my internet. It's weird. If I live stream that on wireless, man, that ain't going to happen. But also another thing is, another reason I don't really live stream my builds and stuff like that is because I love listening to copyrighted music. My channel would just get owned if I did that. I'm going to be honest, I do swear a lot off camera. It's just Aussie. I'm from Queensland, bro. Where I'm from, everyone swears up here. It's part of your vocabulary. So anyway, yeah, that's sort of why I don't live stream. But anyway, not builds and stuff and behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, maybe if we do it on Twitch, would you guys like to see it on Twitch and we give it a trial run? I'm down for that. I just got to make sure it's, yeah. Anyway, all right, we're good. We got a donation as well, which is really cool. They say, love the yes, Greg Salazar, Earth is flat. Have you been saying, are you a flat earther?
Oh, no, not a chance. No way. I think that's bait is what that is. Just trying to bait me. Oh gosh.
Is this pre-recorded? No, it's not, man. I can see chat. I can see it live. Anyway, we're
This
gonna shut
is
it off
pre-
soon. No,
That's
we're gonna,
bait too.
Yeah, that's bait. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna bail. We're gonna bail. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Next episode, I'll fix this wireless thing from buzzing in the chat. Sorry about that. It's yeah, there's always a problem. But hopefully the product has been good today. The product, we got the chat, we got the windows, we got everything set up. Greg's not so stretched out this time.
Yeah.
And hopefully the mic is a little bit better, maybe. I don't know. Like, is the Wave 3? Some people have said it sounds really good. This is the Corsair Wave 3. They sent it over. I was like, okay, you know what? I love the Virtuoso. I'll give this a go. So this is the Wave 3. But I got to figure out what this headset, why it's, even though I've got audio from you, I've got active audio from you, it's like, nope, I'm shutting down. And it's like, okay, that's weird. So, and someone says pat the cat, but because they're swearing so loud, it's like hiding their messages. Anyway, they're asking
In all caps.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I see it now. Yeah.
All right, guys. Anyway, we're gonna catch you guys in the next. Where's Brian? What? No, don't keep the chat alive don't keep the live stream alive by donating money. Where's Brian? I'm right here. What's going on? Oh, with the eye. Where's Brian P? Oh, do they want a Brian P? Do they? Like, cause the Wave 3. Okay, let's just do it down under.
It's time for you to go down under.
All right. So here we go. Because you guys like Brian P, you're talking about are you ready? Let's go. Okay, this is one good thing about the Wave 3. It's got a limiter in it, right? So it'll hard limit your voice so you can't clip. So we can do it a little bit loud, right? You ready for this? Are you ready?
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Are you ready? Let's go! There we go.
Not bad. That is not bad at all.
So that's me
that's
yelling.
impressive.
See, this is the one good thing about the Wave 3. You could yell into this mic and it's gonna not. So you said that wasn't bad. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No, it actually sounded really good. At least on my end on Skype, it sounded really good.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so that was a Brian.
There's none of that weird artifacting or anything you get with some of the software clipping.
Oh, so it works really well. That was the biggest benefit. So I watched reviews on the Wave 3. I was like, man, why didn't people just get up close and go, hey, here's the proximity effect. Here's how it sounds from here. Here's how it sounds from here. That's what you want to know when you're buying a microphone, especially a condenser. You want to know that. So I didn't really see anyone do a proximity test, and I didn't see anyone really take advantage of just yelling into it, because they're the two big factors of a micro. Like, this feature right here is really good on the Wave 3. Like, it's huge. And that, I think if you're live streaming, you're not going to blow your viewers' eardrums out. So yeah, zero clipping. That's what people are saying. So it wasn't just you. It did sound pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of know what I'm talking about here. I'm not an audiophile necessarily, but yeah.
There you go. Wave 3. Like, Wave 3, man. They've done a good job. Like, look, if Corsair push out some bad products, I'll just say, yeah, guys should steer away from that one. But yeah, this one's pretty good. Like, that's a good job. Good stuff.
I want one of those. Is it XLR or USB? Is it USB?
It's just USB, man. So yeah.
Oh man, that's impressive.
Yeah. Are you ready? Let's go.
That's not bad.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to yell. So we're going to close off the stream with the accents, guys.
No, just Brian's doing those today.
Oh,
no,
I gave you already. I gave you a...
It's time for
I can't
you
even
to go
hear
down
him.
under.
I don't even have like
okay.
I can't even hear him, so I don't have a reference.
Okay. It's
go
time
off
for you
of.
to go down under, mate. That's what it was. So.
It's time for you to go down under.
So anyway, that's so it's time for you to go down under. That's what it is. So that's what it is, isn't it, guys? Come on, chat. Come on, tell them.
Yeah, you surround yourself with people that speak the same, dialect or accent like that. You'll naturally kind of pick it up over
Just
time.
like, we're gonna do it one more. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the American closeout, and then we're gonna give you. It's time for you to go down under, and then you do it. Okay. It's time for you to go down under, mate.
I'll just say the peace out for now thing. That's what I'll do that. And then I'll see.
I've given you the soundboard. Come on.
No, I can't.
Beat
My
your
accent's so bad.
Okay.
and it'll shift from like Aussie or however close I can get to that to like English and then like Indian. I don't know. Like, it just goes all over the place. There's no consistency to it. It's pretty pitiful.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna go with the American accent. So, all right, this one's gonna be good.
Yours is Canadian. Yours is totally Canadian.
Yeah, like, look, come on, give me a break. Like, you're going, like, dude, you're going English. You're going English.
Yeah, but
that's,
you know.
So you're saying Canadian and American don't sound similar?
Oh no, they don't. I mean, I guess that's kind of how you guys see like English versus Aussie, because like I assume to a lot of Americans they sound somewhat similar, but I bet to you guys they sound like totally different. You know, so it's just a matter of.
Okay.
What you're used
All right, dude.
to.
All right, I'm getting into this, man. I'm gonna get into this live.
He's already got it
guys,
going.
yeah, I've got it going on. So earlier in the stream, my like headset was like, I heard this Aussie guy speaking. He's Aussie, not Aussie, like Aussie, and he's got a soundboard and he's hitting this like it's time for you to go down under, dude.
It's time for you to go down under.
So when
Right
I
now?
heard, yeah, like when I no, not right now, dude. So
Oh, okay.
when I heard this soundboard, I was like, damn, like. I can get my government printed money and buy a plane ticket and then go to Australia and get more value out of my printed money. And so what happened after that was I tried to book a flight and they said, dude, we can't fly you to Australia. The flights aren't available unless you're like an Aussie citizen. And so I was like, damn. What am I going to do with this printed money? So I went on Craigslist after that. And here's the funny thing. On Craigslist, I found myself a Ryzen 3 1200. Now, you're not going to believe this. I got this thing home, and I tried playing games, and it was stuttering. And I'm like, whoa, what's the problem here? And I looked inside my PC, and it said something about a Radeon 7770, and I'm on Call of Duty, and I'm doing like I'm trying to do this guy sold me this PC. He's like, dude, this can play Call of Duty, and I was like, no, dude, it's getting such bad FPS, and I called him up, and I said, can I return this thing for a refund? And he just said, no, dude, you can't return it. I told you it could play Call of Duty. And I was like, yeah, it can play it, but it's stuttering really bad. That's sort of like not what I paid for, you know? And then he just said, too bad, I can't help you. And he hung up the phone. He hung up the phone on me. And I was just like, damn, I got hosed. All right, so there we go. There's my story. Okay, so come on. I gave you a...
Bravo.
Too right.
Okay,
stuff.
it's time for you. Wait, ready? It's time for you to go down under, mate. Ready?
Oh no!
It's time for you to go down under.
No.
Okay, come on. Give me something.
It's
before
bad.
we close off this stream.
It's bad. It's just.
Before we close off this stream, come on, the audience. Even if it's bad, it doesn't matter, dude. Like, do you think my accent's great?
I mean, it's better than my Aussie accent.
Also, it's pretty decent. Okay. Well,
no, it's not
shit.
bad. Someone said you sound like a flamboyant surfer from California, and I think that's kind of a fair assessment.
There you go.
There.
From California, US. You're saying it's Canadian. I don't know which way to go.
Yeah, there are a couple people saying it also sounded Canadian. I don't know. I think you're kind of on the fence. Definitely West Coast, though.
So I'm a fence sitter, am I?
No. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Jesus.
Yeah. Are you a fence
I did not
sitter?
expect you to go there.
You're a fence sitter, Greg, are you? No. You always say the flamboyant. Every stream we do, there's a mention of flamboyant comes up. I'm like, all right, man.
Well, it's just your accent. I mean, it does kind of exude that. I can see where that person was coming from. Yeah, there's a little bit of it in there.
Even the chat's like, it's time for you to go down under, mate. That's it.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Come on, chat. Tell me, it's time for him to go down under.
No, I can just say peace out for now. That's all I got, man.
Come on, give us something.
I don't even have
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Come on.
Yeah, because of how terrible it is. It's just awful. It really is. I can't. I'm nowhere near as confident as I should be to do this.
Oh man, just give us some, even just a one sentence. Come on.
Okay. All right. What do you guys use to look for PC parts online, like besides Facebook Marketplace?
Gumtree.
Ah, okay. I was looking on good old Gumtree. How do you say it?
Yeah, Gumtree.
Gumtree. I was on Gumtree, and I was looking around for some graphics cards. I said, "Crocky, mate, that's RTX 28 Ti, but it's got one fan." So I call up my mate. I say, "Hey, mate, I got to buy myself an RTX 28 Ti. It's got one fan." I drove over there. I looked at it. It was a GT 730. How do you say it? GT 730. Yeah, like that one. Yeah.
A GT 730?
A GT 730? And you call this an RTX 2080 Ti? That sounded super English or something that was not Aussie. Actually,
a GT 730? Are you kidding me, mate?
Oh my god. Okay, that's it. That's as far as I'm going. I can't.
Come on, man.
No,
I was getting into that a bit.
I gave you a little taste. That's all I can do. I just gotta give you a little teaser.
All right, well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the chat. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the chat. Hope you enjoyed having Greg on. You know, this live stream's a bit of a chill. It's just time to relax with you guys, and you know, have a bit of fun. And if we got questions that you guys have to get answered, you can answer them here. It's all good. We're all here to do that. In terms of just these live streams, they come on randomly, right? They come on randomly, and we want to I do want to fix, like, I wanted to get a live stream that actually works properly. That's the biggest thing, because I'm so rusty with live streaming. I think even that came out in today's live stream, but hey, I got it together with the soundboard. Do you guys honestly like the soundboard too? Let us know. I kind of love it because it reminds me of Heroes of New Earth. That was like, I used to play that game. It holds a place in my heart. People, one more thing before we get on out here. People think that gaming culture is so toxic nowadays. Are you kidding me? Go back 10 years ago, man. That was proper toxicity. Like, if you guys,
and they did nothing about it.
If you guys played Heroes of New Earth 10 years ago, oh my God, this is why these soundboards exist, because the makers of the game knew how bad the community was. And they made these trolling voice packs just to like try and ease things up. And it ended up making for some really good games. Like, I mean, look, I jump on a game, right? And I get owned. And then I get people like just pooping all over me. And I'm an advocate of it. Like, if I suck, I deserve to get called out. I don't know. Anyway.
I remember the old school like Modern Warfare lobbies when I was like not even 15. I was younger than that. Like, bro, they were just destroying kids in there. Like, thankfully I didn't have a microphone because my parents, I guess, didn't trust me with one. But oh man, it was rough. I always had to make sure I muted the lobbies because my parents would hear all this like just craziness coming out of the TV.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. You just mute the lobbies. Like, the option was there just to mute your teammates, and that's what I mean. Yeah. But people then unmute it, and then they whinge about, like, isn't there even chat lobbies? Like, there's free chat, and then there's like
auto shutdown initiated.
Oh no. Okay. All right. That's time for me to get off the stream. I'm gonna fix this headset for next time. So you guys got the auto shutdown initiated. So it's initiated. My headset's gonna close off soon. But I can cancel it if I hit the soundboard, but yeah. All right. We'll catch you guys in another live stream very soon. I think we kind of got it right this time, but we got it wrong. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good.
Whatever.
It's a live stream.
I got to dust off my live stream rust. I don't. Man, I sometimes I just get it so wrong. But from here on in, I'm using wired everything. There's no more wireless in my life. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the donations too, guys.
Am I going to say it? Am I going to say it?
Peace out for now. Wait up. Wait. Okay, wait up. I'm going to do a peace out for now in American first, and we'll go.
Auto shutdown canceled.
Down under.
Okay. Peace out for now. Bye.
Peace out for now, boy.